Happy Thanksgiving, everyone! You know the drill, I answer your questions you asked to me in the announcement for this. Without any further ado, here we go. Now it's Anna Zizka's turn. Thoughts on Yoshi's Crafted World? What's your favorite and least favorite level? I think it's a relatively good game, but the music could have been better. It still has some awesome ones though. My favorite would probably be Whistle Stop Rails because of the awesome train mechanic, and my least favorite is the Haunted Maker Mansion because the Choppa Gobblers are annoying. Thoughts on the level Be Afraid of the Dark, and do you think it is really creepy? Yes, I definitely agree it's creepy. Though if I'd change anything, the Bunmawashi dolls look a bit too cute. They still creep me out with how they act, but you get it. In Dream Team, what's your favorite Giant Luigi boss battle? Earthquake. In Chrono Trigger, what's your feelings about the level Lost Sanctum, and do you think it's as bad as people say? I only own the SNES version. I've seen Chugga Conroy's Let's Play of the game just like you have. I do think it does look as bad as they say. So let's see, Ori and Blind Forest or Dust and Elysian Tale? I've played neither. Any tips on using Meta Knight in Ultimate? I don't really know of any, but if you're trying to use the Mach Tornado to recover, try not to get too close to the edge with it or you'll bounce off. I guess you should probably check out Bit Deep's guide on him. Thoughts on Joker in Smash as well as his classic mode? I'm not interested in Persona, so I'm not big on him. What is your favorite and least favorite Splatfest? Splatoween, Frosty Fest, Springfest, or Splatocalypse? I embarrassingly missed out on those. But I'd say my least favorite would be Frosty Fest, because I was expecting more Christmas colors. I mean, yeah, there was white like snow, but brown? My favorite would probably be Springfest because of the colors. Have you played any of the games in the Jackbox Party Pack series? Never heard of them. Thoughts on the Telltale Heights song? Heroic, since there are two versions surprisingly enough. I love it. Do you prefer the K levels in Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze? I've played probably one of each, and I think I remember them both being bad, but I'll probably say the ones in Tropical Freeze. Favorite and least favorite theory in game theory? My favorite? Probably the one about how deadly Link's hookshot is. And I can't remember if I really had a least favorite, since I haven't seen as many as you'd think, and I did somewhat lose interest a year ago. I'd probably say the one about Ash Ketchum's real age, because it's too much to follow. And even then, that's more of a me thing than a problem with their video. Astral Chain, Virtual Last Reward, AI, The Somnium Files, or Little Nightmares? Which do you want to give a try someday? They don't look that interesting to me unless I'm saying them wrong. Hey, I don't have time to answer. I was completely overwhelmed with my amount of projects and I only had one day left to answer yours. Thoughts on Shamir and Flayn as a character and unit? I think Shamir is a great fighter and Flayn does a great job as well. And here's what I think of their characters. Well, Shamir practically falls into that category of how apparently somewhere it is written that all serious females have to be devoid of personality aside from sadness and anger, have no sense of humor, and think the main character is really annoying. I blame you, Tigress. But as far as characters in that stereotype go, Shamir's not half bad. As for Flayn, she's just plain adorable. Favorite and least favorite video game song of the year? I'll probably go with Arendelle Ice Labyrinth as my favorite, but my least favorite is the What's It Gonna Be in Yoshi's Crafted World. What are your thoughts on Edelgard in Three Houses? Pre-time skip and post-time skip. I prefer her pre-time skip, but she's still likable in post-time skip. She's an awesome character because she's wicked in battle, she has some pretty understandable intentions, she's quite sympathetic, and she is best waifu without a doubt. But I do have 3 problems with her, and those problems will all contain spoilers. She had to side with those who slither in the dark to accomplish her goal. I know why, and I know she plans on stopping them after, but everyone keeps telling me that there's no possible justification for that, since siding with her is equal to taking a dump on Jones' grave, since those who slithered in the dark killed him. She even secretly hires Kostas to kill us, probably to make her mission easier. I think I heard it might be because she actually wanted to lure Kostas and his troop of bandits to us so we could stop them. I don't remember any evidence, but I hope that's the case. Another is how some things she says are very easy to misinterpret. She says things that make it sound like she wanted Solon to kill us, and makes it sound like she wants to crush Sothis when she actually wants to crush Rhea. And Leslie, because even though her and Lysithia's lifespans were significantly lowered by those who slither in the dark, and the only way to save them is to remove their crests, except Edelgard never tells us just like Lysithia does. Does she secretly have a suicide wish? Yes, I know I just spent all this time complaining about her. Hopefully that makes up for me always talking about her in my community posts these last few months. Next question contains spoilers from Toy Story 4. Okay, here we go. Thoughts on Gabby Gabby as a character and villain from Toy Story 4? I'm kinda okay with her. I think she's one of the weakest Toy Story villains because her backstory is pretty much Lotso and Jesse's backstories except with a slight difference, but she's still a decent villain, and I'm glad things worked out for her in the end. The last 3 questions will contain spoilers from Kingdom Hearts 3. Which scene is better, when Woody said, "Get lost" to Xehanort, or when Sully and Mike throw Vanitas in the door? I'd probably have to go with that one. It's actually kinda ironic since I'm more of a Toy Story fan than a Monsters Incorporated fan. But whatever the reason, I like the Monsters Incorporated one better. Thoughts on the Let Go scene from Kingdom Hearts 3? I love it! mainly because of how much I love the song, but you get the point. What are your thoughts on rescuing Aqua in Kingdom Hearts 3? I'm very glad we got to save her. Andrew Okiki asked, what's your favorite Mario game? Super Mario 3D World. What's your favorite Sonic game? Sonic Colors. Animation Unlimited asked, is Tywin Lannister homosexual? Never heard of him. Who is better, the angry video game nerd or the nostalgia critic? Well, even though I'm more of a gamer guy than a movie guy, I enjoy the nostalgia critic videos more because he reviews a wider variety, while angry video game nerd only sticks to classic games, with very few of them being recognizable. Still like both reviewers, but I enjoy the critic more. What's your thought on abortions? I agree with everyone who says they're horrible. If you don't want to have a baby, then either don't have sex or wait for the baby to come out and then put it up for adoption. Which are cuter, Asian, black or white women? I can't decide because I don't want people to think I'm racist. Is Bart Simpson's cool? I've heard he's a cool guy. Or is the fact you have an S at the end of his name supposed to indicate that you're not talking about the Bart Simpson I've been thinking about, and instead talking about some user with his name? If the latter, then I have no idea who that is. What's your opinion on Tulsi Gabbard and her politics? Never heard of her. Which are cuter, rabbits or cats? Cats. Who is better, Spyro the Dragon or Crash Bandicoot? Crash Bandicoot. Would you marry Princess Ruto if she was real? No, because she's still kind of a brat, and I'd be supporting bestiality. Though I'd be really tempted to if she had her Hyrule Warriors design. Who is the better villain, Voldemort or Ganondorf/Ganon? Now that you mentioned it, that's actually a pretty difficult question. I'd say I personally prefer Ganondorf, but Voldemort is probably the better villain. Who's better, classic Tiny Sonic or modern green-eyed lanky Sonic? I like modern Sonic more. How do you rank Donald Duck, Goofy, and Mickey Mouse? From least to best, Donald, Goofy, and Mickey. What is the ugliest animal in existence? I'd probably go with Lampreys. Who is a better villain, the Horned King from the Black Cauldron or Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars? No contest, Horned King. Because, well, I don't really know about Palpatine being a bad villain, but the fact that he basically steals the villain spotlight from Darth Vader, who was a much more iconic and interesting villain, I just had to give it to the Horned King. Who is the better hero or heroine? Link from The Legend of Zelda or Mulan from Disney's Mulan? I'm probably going to say Link, but only by a really tiny bit. Do you lift or do exercise of sort? Sometimes. What would you rather like to see, an Earthbound movie or a Legend of Zelda movie? Zelda. Which is the better decade, 2000 to 2010 or 2010 to 2020? That's a difficult question. Technology seems better in this decade, but I had more stressful times than the 2010s. Then again, I was also a complete moron than the 2000s, so 2010 to 2020 it is. Who is cuter, Melon or Princess Zelda? Zelda by a tiny bit. What medium has the worst fanbase in the world? Don't you mean media? Well, let's just answer it. As of now, Pokemon because of the National Dex controversy. Here's some questions from the Aquabot. Have you heard of Mega Man Fully Charged? I might have. Have you watched it? No. What are your thoughts on these movies? Freebirds, Shark Tale, Delgo, Over the Hedge, Steven Universe the Movie, Emperor's New Groove, Megamind, Chicken Little, and all 4 Madagascar movies. I consider Freebirds, Shark Tale, and Chicken Little guilty pleasures. I haven't seen Delgo or Steven Universe the Movie. I hated Over the Hedge. I think the Emperor's New Groove is only meh because Kuzco is bar none the most unlikable main protagonist I've ever seen. No matter what you do, you'll never be able to prepare yourself for how much of a stupid and unlikable monster he is. And where the heck did that stupid meme of Kuzco being a princess come from? Okay, let's move on. I liked Megamind, but it's also kind of weird for my tastes. Still love it though. I love Madagascar 1 and 3. I think Madagascar 2 is only okay, and I can't really remember my opinion on the Penguins of Madagascar movie, but from what I remember, I'll give it a C. As for the scale tippers up next. So, who did you support on every other path in 3 houses besides Edelgard in 3 houses? Well, I married Dorothea in Blue Lion since she's my backup waifu, and in the Golden Deer route, I married Lysithea, but that was mainly out of sympathy and because I knew it would help her. I knew I would inevitably marry Edelgard anyways, so I thought why not. Favorite chapter from 3 houses? Now that you mention it, I can't decide. I'll probably say either The Cause of Sorrow or To the End of a Dream. What classes did you make, everyone? Did you try unique classes with certain characters? Well, I can't remember every single class I made them. I do remember making Ferdinand and Sylvain Cavaliers, Dorothea a Swordsmaster, Annette was a Warlock, Caspar became a Knight, and Mercedes was a Bishop. Top 5 favorite support conversations in 3 houses? Each pair must be different. You just had to pick the hardest questions, did you? Never mind, let's just get back to this. Bernadetta and Hubert's C conversation, Mercedes and Sylvain's A conversation, Dorothea and Edelgard's C conversation, Dedu and Gilbert's C conversation, and Sedith and Flame's A conversation. Reaction to Blue Lion's final boss is probably one of the saddest final boss fights I've faced, and probably one of the creepiest. Top 10 favorite ships in Fire Emblem 3 houses? Your questions are impossible. I mean, I'll try. Byleth x Edelgard, Mercedes x Sylvain, Dorothea x Hubert, Demetria x Catherine, Linhardt x Lysithea, Claude X Hilda, Flame X Felix, Bernadetta X Ferdinand, oh boy, now we're getting to the bottom of the barrel, Sedef X Manuela, and Lorenz X Marianne. BCY will adopt himself asked, besides Meta Knight, who's your favorite Kirby character? Either Kirby or King DDD. Barrett Fine asked, can you play more games like MNL? You mean games that play similar to Mario and Luigi RPGs, right? I don't know about many RPGs that have similar elements. Ben Monday asked, who is your anime waifu? Well, the only anime I watch is the Pokemon anime, and most of the waifus there are underaged. And even some of the characters I've heard are waifus outside of the Pokemon anime are underaged too. But if I had to go with one, it would be Alexa from Generation 6 of the Pokemon anime. What is your favorite video game song? I can't decide. I'll probably say We're Counting on You Mario from Thousand Year Door. Here's a question from Beanie Lover. What's your opinion on Kirby Star Allies? It's great, and probably the best game of 2018. Though that's not really saying much, since it doesn't have much competition. Bonnie Freddy and Friends Extras asked, when are you going to make an Everything Wrong with Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story? The original and/or remake is okay. You're probably like the 100th person to ask that, and I guess it will probably be next year, if I can find enough good footage. Brian Guillemate asked, if you were to add one Echo Fighter to Smash, who would it be? Probably Callie or Marie, as Echo Fighters are the Inkling. Though that'll be hard in this game since there are already assist trophies, but maybe in Smash 6. Who is your least favorite Smash Bros. Character and why? I'd say Sheik because it was an unneeded and completely random addition and only exists to spoil an awesome plot twist in Ocarina of Time. Are you excited for Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated? Yep. What is your favorite and least favorite animal? My favorites are dogs and my least favorite are stargazer fish. What is your opinion on people being more hyped for the Sans Me costume than Terry? I don't know much about Terry, and I don't know if I'd be interested in his games, but I do agree with you that a completely new fighter, let alone a new representation of a franchise, was overshadowed by a Me costume. Chaos Killer Iraq asked, what was your goal when you made this channel? Just to make interesting videos. Let's see what Chanana Arts has to ask me. What are your thoughts on Kingdom Hearts 3? I love it, but I'm very mad at something that happens during the climax. You don't know what it is if you saw my Killjoys remake. Is there any video game series you haven't played but are interested in? Knights, Bomberman, and maybe Golden Sun. And I might also consider getting a Metal Gear game since I've actually been old enough to play them for quite a while, but I want to make sure I'm interested in them first. Have you ever played any card games or tabletop games? I play games like Rummy, Hearts, and Apples to Apples, and I sometimes play Scrabble. Have you heard or seen a Sprite series called Super Mario Bros. Z? And if so, what's your thoughts on it? I think I've seen 1 or 2 episodes and enjoyed them. Don't know which ones though. Do you have a favorite gemstone or crystal? Probably those multicolored ones. Tai Hifumi asked, who's better for you, Meta Knight and Brawl or Ultimate? Ultimate, but mainly because that game's more relevant. Is Fire Emblem 3 Houses better or is Link's Awakening better to you? 3 Houses. Who's your favorite Zelda villain? Ganondorf. I'd probably say Veron if it weren't for a horrible plot twist I've complained about in multiple of my countdowns. Company Cubic asked, have you played Undertale? If not, can you play it? No, I haven't. I'm still unsure about its toxic fanbase. What's your favorite non-Nintendo game? Well, assuming Sonic Colors doesn't count, then either Chrono Trigger or Kingdom Hearts 2. The Cynical Specialist asked, worst video you've made? Probably my 2011 Hardest Bosses just because of how boring it was. Thoughts on the OK Boomer memes? Never heard of them. How do you feel about Sword and Shield not having the National Dex? I'm very disappointed in that, but I have a bigger problem with the Bring Back National Dex people because their stupid and toxic actions are more likely to ruin the game than any amount of no National Dex, since they could have gotten me stuck thinking about their stupid death threats throughout the entire game. Thoughts on Trump? I still hate his guts, but I don't want to shoot myself whenever I hear his name like I did a couple years ago, because after hearing about Trump memes so much for 3 to 4 years, I practically got used to them. Still despise him though. Who will you be voting for next year? Whoever is running against Trump. Have you ever played Team Fortress 2? No. Favorite post-movie episode of SpongeBob? It's a SpongeBob Christmas. Least favorite pre-movie episode of SpongeBob? Mermaid Man Barnacle Boy 4. Thoughts on Drake and Josh and iCarly? I've seen a few episodes of Drake and Josh, like the Foam Finger one and Drake and Josh Go Hollywood, and I kinda enjoyed them, but I didn't love them. I haven't seen iCarly, but I think I've seen a clip of an episode where she freaked out after eating something spicy. Thoughts on the no N-word November memes? I don't know anything about them. If you could add any characters to Smash Brothers, who would it be and why? Sora without any shadow of a doubt, because I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. The Dapper Waffle asks, what are your thoughts on Alpha Dreams shutting down? I feel sorry for them. But do you want to know what I don't understand? Why are people saying it's a bad thing to make jokes about people going bankrupt, but then they go ahead and make jokes about Alpha Dream's bankruptcy? What's your least favorite Switch game you've played? Well, I haven't played any I hate, but I'll just go with these ones. Sonic Mania for being way too close to its roots with barely any innovation aside from the drop dash ability, which is pretty much useless and near impossible to pull off. And Yooka-Laylee Impossible Lair because, while not bad, feels too much like your generic everyday 2D platformer. Dark Hour asks, how do you feel about being a YouTuber? I'm proud to be one. Between countdowns and everything wrong with videos, which do you prefer doing the most? Currently I prefer everything wrong with videos, because after uploading countdowns on a near monthly basis for nearly 10 years, I think I'm suffering from a bit of burnout, so after my Christmas countdowns, I might upload countdowns less often for a bit of time. Do you mean Meta Knight in Smash Ultimate because I see him in your profile picture? Why, yes I do. Doug Fisher asked, Dr. Pepper or Mr. Pibb? Neither, since I hate carbonated drinks. I will, however, tell you that I'm more familiar with Dr. Pepper. What is your opinion on Kanye West? I don't know a lot about him, as stupid as that sounds. What do you think about negative interest rates in Germany? I feel bad for them. Duncan Stevens asked, I've seen you getting angry with CinemaSins about Lady and the Tramp. What's wrong with it, and do you think you'll ever stop being a fan of theirs? Okay, for those of you who don't know, here's the context. I called CinemaSins out on Twitter because they missed their chance to doing everything wrong with on Lady and the Tramp, since the live-action version came around that time. Since they sent movies like Aladdin, Dumbo, and Beauty and the Beast when their remakes came out, but then I realized that maybe the reason they didn't was because The Lady and the Tramp 2019 was a TV movie and not a theatrical film. So they have a better reason for skipping it than when they skipped Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty, and Winnie the Pooh. I'm not trying to come off like a dictator, I'm just asking them to be consistent. But I've stalled long enough. What's wrong with Lady and the Tramp? Well, I guess you could argue that Dashi stopped with his absolutely necessary escape plan just to take part in their little musical number, and how dogs can somehow communicate with beavers. Still a good movie though. And about if I'll stop being a CinemaSins fan? I don't think so. At least I'd hope not. I can't believe I spent so much time on this question. Let's move on. Speaking of CinemaSins, will you continue to do your everything wrong with series even though it's just copying the tired CinemaSins formula and isn't very interesting? Whether I will or not, I'll answer in Dusk Lycanrock's question. But I can make everything wrong with videos if I want. Will you be playing Death Stranding? It doesn't really look like my type of game. What's your favorite Pokemon of all time? Kyogre. Any update on the job? I hope you get a promotion. If no promotion yet, do you think you'll get one soon? Well, I haven't gotten a promotion, but I do have some new coworkers, and with their help, I'm more likely to get off work a little earlier every day, and I hope it can stay like that. Do you do presents for Thanksgiving? What will you get and what will you receive? If not for Thanksgiving, then can you tell me Christmas presents? Thanks. I don't get Thanksgiving presents, but our family does put our names in the bag and then randomly choose a name, and whoever's name we pick, we get a Christmas present for that person. I'll answer the Christmas question and Pierce Reed's question though. Will you update your winter themed song playlist ever? I would love to, since I heard great songs like Glitter Glazed Glacier and Arendelle Ice Labyrinth, but as of now, my list will barely be any different, so it probably won't be for a long time. What's your favorite season? Why? How many? I can't decide, but I'd have to say I have 3 favorites, which does sound weird since that's 3 out of 4 seasons, but they are summer because I don't have to go to work, fall because the temperature is just fine and it has Halloween and Thanksgiving, and winter because of Christmas. Spring's not bad, I just don't like it as much as the other 3. Are you planning on going to college? What would you like to study if you could? I've actually been going to college for a while. I study stuff like writing. Happy Thanksgiving! I hope you have a wonderful holiday! It's not a question, but I want to show my ongoing support for you always, Meta. Why, thank you very much! Dusk asks Lycanrock asks, do you watch the Pokemon anime? Yes, but I haven't watched it as much as I should. I've been meaning to watch more Sun and Moon episodes. Will you update Hardest Mario bosses soon? No, because the order is still the same as it was when I first made it. Even if I do remake my list, it probably won't be for many years. Will you do more everything wrong with videos? Yes. As a matter of fact, at the time of uploading this Q&A video, I'm almost finished with my next one. Elliot J-Med asked, what was your hardest Pokemon playthrough you had counting Nuzlocke? I'll go with my first time playing through Pokemon Sapphire, because I was really bad at it back then. So bad that it took me a week to beat Watson, and a whole month to catch Kyogre. But if that doesn't count, then my playthrough of Pokemon Black and White. What is your least favorite game of all time? Final Fantasy III on the DS. Which of these 3 houses was your favorite? Crimson Flower, because it's the only one where I get to be with Edelgard, also known as my waifu. And I'm gonna try not to be too creepy about it, even though I am gonna bring her up multiple times in this video. Are you glad that you've improved tremendously from your original point to become a better YouTuber? Why wouldn't I? Played any fan games? I recommend Pokemon Insurgents if you're interested. No, I haven't because of piracy. Emil Callisto asks, what is your favorite Pokemon on Sword and Shield so far? That's a difficult question. I'll probably say Cinderace or Centiskorch. What kind of bosses are your favorite? Bosses where you go at high speed? Ones where you do many different things? Bosses that are a fair challenge without being too annoying? And bosses that you can climb? Sometimes. Have you ever played Yokai Watch, and what are your thoughts on the series? I'm not all that interested in them. Our next question is from Game King Lucas. Why do you think Smash Bros. Is a popular series? I guess it's because it has everyone's favorite Nintendo characters, and I think it deserves its popularity. The Gaming Platypus asked, thoughts on Fortnite? Haven't played it. Out of all the Japan exclusive Fire Emblem games, Which one do you want to be localized the most? Either Binding Blade, Thrashia 776, or Mystery of the Emblem. Thoughts on Kirsty from Paper Mario Sticker Star? I think she's okay. God of Our Friend 1996 asked, what do you have against early game pre-promotes in Fire Emblem? By that he means characters like Jagen, and here's what I have against them. They're only there to steal your experience points, since they become completely useless later in the game, so by using them to kill enemies, you wasted your experience you could have gotten, and in games like Shadow Dragon and Blazing Sword, you can't go back and get that experience you could have gotten. What is your favorite and least favorite Fire Emblem Lord? My favorite is Edelgard, while my least favorite is probably Rowan. He's not terrible, but his voice is very grating. Is Echoes your least favorite Fire Emblem game, or is that still Radiant Dawn? Still Radiant Dawn. Also, I never said I hated Echoes, I just don't like the final chapter. Top 3 favorite Pegasus Knights in Fire Emblem? Sita, Clara, and Cordelia. Is Nephenee from Path of Radiance one of your favorite Fire Emblem characters? Not one of my favorite characters from the series, but maybe from the game. What are your thoughts on Tharja from Awakening? She's a good unit. Is Faye your least favorite Echoes character? No. I'd have to say my least favorite is either Mycen, being the stereotypical Jagen archetype character, which I explained my problems with in your first question, or Jedha for being very unmemorable and even looking stupid. Assuming that it counts, since, you know, he's not playable. Thoughts on Three Houses' story? It's a good story, but I feel like those who slither in the dark are kinda pointless for reasons I won't spoil. And I also don't like how it ended up causing some of the biggest flame wars I've ever seen in a fanbase. Seriously, do you know how many butthurt fanboys I've gotten on my case for personally regarding a certain Blue Lions character as a villain, despite the fact that he's a morally great character, aka a character who is a matter of opinion whether he's good or bad? Did you choose Dean or Sonya in Echoes? I really hate to say this, but I can't remember. I feel like I might have recruited Sonya, but this out of them tells me I might have recruited Dean. G.E.'d asks, what's your favorite indie game? A Hat in Time. If that doesn't count, then Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. If that doesn't count, then Shovel Knight. Glitched Boy asked, what is your favorite legendary Pokemon? Kyogre. Hero of the Wind asked, which name is better, Pyra or Homura? Pyra. Your turn, Ian Chapman. Let's see what you asked. Have you seen gameplay of Bendy and the Ink Machine? Yes, but I don't plan on playing it. Favorite Mario Party game? Mario Party 9. Have you seen any gameplay of Undertale, and if so, what's your favorite character? I have seen some. I haven't seen that many characters, but I'd probably say Papyrus. Favorite character to play on Smash Ultimate? Meta Knight, if you haven't already guessed. Which series is better boss fights, Zelda or Pokemon? I'd say Zelda, but only by a tiny bit. Favorite and least favorite boss in any Metroid game? My favorite is Meta Ridley in Prime 3. My least favorite is Mother Brain in Zero Mission. What are your thoughts on the Switch drifting? That's when the joystick moves in certain directions even though you're not touching it, right? If so, then that's happened to me, and it is really annoying. It hasn't messed me up as much as I'd expect it to, though. It's been a real problem, but it hasn't been a real problem all that often. Probably the worst it's done to me is caused me to walk into holes in Link's Awakening remake, which, mind you, is still annoying, but still. Will you do a top 10 bosses you hate that everyone likes? Good idea! I'll think about it. Do you have any guilty pleasure games? Star Fox Zero, Metroid Other M, and Sticker Star. Here's one from Italo Cacho Torres. What is your favorite Everything Wrong With video that you've made? I'm probably going with either my Partners in Time video or my Ocarina of Time one. Wow, a tie between two games that have the word time in them. James Johnson asked, so after beating every route in Fire Emblem Three Houses, do you think all of that gameplay was worth it? Or do you think that the game overall could have been better? I'd say it was worth it, but I can't tell if it would be worth it for others, especially considering its high price. What video editing software do you use, and is it free? I use Camtasia, but it wasn't free. I had to spend like hundreds of dollars on it. But to me, it was all worth it. Which brand and model of microphone did you use to record your narrations? It definitely makes you sound cool and unique from every tuber out there. Why, thank you very much, James. I use a HyperX headset. Jammer439Y8 asks, what is your least favorite video game character of all time? So far, I'll probably say Silver from Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, for massive spoiler reasons. Go to this time frame to skip it. So we're supposed to see him develop as a character, and while he does treat Pokemon better, he's still a complete brat to other people. Now here are some questions from Jesse Miller, except the questions asked were way too long, so I'll just shorten them. What are your thoughts on the Adventure Team community? They do make some fun videos, but they're also a bunch of complete brats who threaten people over the most minor reasons, and they worship that stupid pervert Ralph on a golden pedestal, in spite of how Ralph constantly ruins Elsa's good name and tells people that they're not allowed to use characters he's using. And he also says Jelsa is a horrible shipping because Jack already has a love interest when he ships Ariel with Mushu and Belle with Kronk. Both shippings which make even less sense than Jelsa. I know the real reason why he thinks Jelsa is bad. It's just because he wants to have Elsa all to himself. I wouldn't mind him shipping himself with her if he weren't so creepy and rude about it. Well, I don't have to listen to his rules. He doesn't own these characters, so he has no right to tell me I can't use them. If I do a spoof on Santa Claus coming to town, I'm going to have Elsa play as Miss Jessica anyways, whether he likes it or not. Ralph's not the boss of me, nor is he my teacher or my father. And for the record, his stupidity is so appalling that it actually is the reason why I became a Jelsa shipper. How do you feel about a certain YouTube stars going downhill and or retiring? It's a shame that this is happening. I personally like the Nostalgia Critic, but I will admit his videos are more entertaining when he's actually ripping on movies instead of just making small potshots when he gets the chance. Which can still be entertaining, but I also wish he did a better job telling us which ones of his reviews are going to have Malcolm and Tamara in them and which ones aren't. And I'm okay with McJuggernuggets retiring next year because he seems like a horribly abusive father to his own son, and he gets a sick enjoyment out of listening to his own son cry. And I understand that's probably acting, but that still teaches people that it's okay to be an insensitive jerk to your own son's feelings. So the less we have to hear of him, the better. JJ Slider asked, what do you think of Enchanted Portals? I agree with you on it. It kinda looks like a Cuphead ripoff, but it does indeed look intriguing. I just hope it's not completely cheap like I heard Cuphead is, and I hope it's not like those Disney ripoff movies that got bad reception. If it's like them, I expect it to have bad controls. Have you ever thought of doing reviews of games or other media? I actually did 6 video game reviews 8 years ago, and they were all bad except for the Castlevania review, which was only decent. Is there anything about Kingdom Hearts 3 you would change to improve it? Yes. I would un-retcon a certain plot twist from Dream Drop Distance involving the organization's motives. I'd have Elsa be a party member, let's play as all 7 of the Guardians of Light on multiple occasions, and Sora, Riku, and Kairi all have their own story modes, and something that contains massive spoilers. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. Make Kairi actually be able to hold her own instead of being pushed to the side again. Seriously, how stupid is Nomura? KH Brony asked, did you cry playing Kingdom Hearts 3? Yes, but on the inside. I did shed a tear at a certain moment before you fight Xehanort, but I won't spoil what it was. What do you think of KH Brony? Well, I haven't seen enough of your commentaries to know for sure if you're a bad commentator, but you don't seem like a bad person, unless there's something you're not telling me. Do you think Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 will come out in 2020? I hope so. I have a feeling it might get delayed, and I hope I didn't just jinx it. Kirby the Artist asks, who's your favorite Mario villain? That's a good question. It took me a while. I was thinking of including the Shadow Queen or Cackletta, but in the end, I think I might go with the Shrooms. What's your favorite gaming console? Either the Wii U or the Switch. Because even though the Switch is more functional, the Wii U has a better library of interesting games. What are your thoughts on Toy Story 4? I thought it was pretty good, but I do agree that it didn't need to exist. The moral also ends up being rather confusing. I mean, the first one said don't be jealous. The second one said enjoy the time you have. The third one said learn to let that go. And the fourth one said toys are better off lost. I don't get it. Cool Cat asks, do you know about Kaiju? If so, which is your favorite and why? No, I don't know about it. Now let's answer Lori Taylor's question. Opinion on Detective Pikachu? I haven't played the game, but I saw the movie and liked it. Thought Charizard's burning ambition was sad? Do you enjoy it as an episode? I've only seen it a couple times, and all 3 of those times were quite a long time ago, and I can't really remember my opinion. But I think I might remember that Ash didn't seem to have a good reason for letting Charizard stay behind. Ash wanted Charizard to be happy, but Charizard wanted to stay with Ash, so that shoots Ash's point in the foot, unless I'm forgetting something. Thoughts on the Green Brinstar level from Super Metroid? I see it's your favorite level, and while I don't regard it as my favorite, it's still a nice level. Are Cecil Harvey and Kane Highwind awesome Final Fantasy IV characters? If you prefer Rosa though, I'm not surprised. Yes, they're awesome. I like Cecil better than Kane, but I still think Kane's an interesting character. Played Mega Man Zero 2 yet? No, I haven't. I've heard it's much better than the original Zero, which I thought was garbage, but I'm not pushing my luck. Did you get your chance at Rondo of Blood yet? Yes, I did. And it's easily one of the best Castlevania games because unlocking Maria keeps the game from being as cheap as its predecessors. Thoughts on Bloodstained Ritual of the Night? I haven't played it, but I'm considering it. Thoughts on the Aladdin 2019 remake? I loved it. It's one of the 3 remakes I'd say are comparable to the originals, next to Dumbo and Cinderella. Though it's also the only one of the 3 that I know for sure if I like it more than the original, unlike Dumbo and Cinderella, which I liked more than the originals. Thoughts on Maleficent Mistress of All Evil? I haven't seen it, but I've seen the original and hated it. I've been considering giving the sequel a try, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Magical Fire asks, what's your favorite Mario RPG? Partners in Time. What do you enjoy the most about YouTube? Pretty much everything. Mary Arroyo asks, who is your favorite Mario character? Mario himself. Megan Sylvian asks, have you played a Pokemon fan game / ROM hack? You'll probably have already gathered this if you heard me answer Elliot Jamin's question, but no, I haven't. I probably would if it weren't for piracy. Though if I had my way, I'd probably make my own ROM hacks, though it would mainly be a Pokemon remake of Mario, Luigi, and Kingdom Hearts games. Micah Coriglio asks, Have you seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? I definitely agree that it's an awesome movie. Do you think you'll do a countdown on normal boss teams? Great idea! Maybe I should do that. What movies have you seen this year that you have liked? The Aladdin remake, Toy Story 4, Captain Marvel, Frozen 2, and a few others. What are some of your least favorite movies of 2019? I haven't seen any that I necessarily hated, but if I had to go with any, it would be the live-action Lion King. After seeing your top 9 Mario RPG games and favorite games of 2012 lists, I've been thinking, is Wario your worst character in Super Smash Bros? And if not, then who is? He hasn't been my most hated Smash Bros. Character in quite a while. And I wasn't actually acting like Wario was the guy I owned. I was having him be based on a random user who would childishly insult me like that. By the way, I also had that gag in my commentary on Savvy. Why doesn't anyone watch that? If there's someone I don't like as a fighter, then I answered in Brian Calmate's question. What if I told you that the other Diary of a Wimpy Kid films are even worse than Roderick Rules? I shudder to think of how much worse the others could be. Why do you hate the movie Rampage so much? It expects us to care about the monster destroying the town after 3 minutes of building up their friendship, and teaches people that it's okay to let someone you don't like die. Do you think you'll ever get into the Mission Impossible films? Maybe sometime in my life. What are your favorite and least favorite maps of each route in Fire Emblem Fates? Is this a trick question? But if you say so, then I'll probably guess the final map for Birthright. Not bad, just somewhat cheap. Chapter 10 in Conquest, and Chapter 9 in Revelations. What are your least favorite maps in each route of 3 houses? My least favorite is probably one that's in every route. That being the map in Chapter Rumors of a Reaper. The map on its own isn't bad, but it's hard to navigate layout, doesn't work well with the fact that there's a turn limit. I might also add that it also led to me later accusing Edelgard for being the reason something bad happened to Lysithea in this game, but I won't spoil why I thought that was her fault. However, I will say that it does have something to do with Lysithea's A support. Where's some of your favorite music in Fire Emblem 3 Houses? Apex of the World, Roar of Dominion, Tearing Through Heaven, and The Long Road. What is your favorite Chugga Conroy moment? I don't know, it's probably Slavinator versus Makuhita. Or maybe when he caught Groudon in an S-ball. What's your favorite Runaway Guys moment? Hard to say. Probably in their new Super Mario Bros. Wii video where everyone died except for Chugga, or they made a joke comparing Sully Ponce's name to Sully from Monsters Incorporated. I think it was in their new Super Mario Bros. U Let's Play. I can't remember which part, but it'll take forever to watch through the Let's Plays to find my answer. Miss CookieMan145 asks, have you ever played anything from the Persona series? If not, I think you would enjoy them for the RPG and dating aspects. I'm actually not really interested in it because I just think the animation style looks kind of boring in my opinion. What is your favorite band / artist? I actually don't listen to that many bands, but I do like certain video game composers like Yoko Shimomura and Koji Kondo for composing a lot of epic songs. Would you eat cheese and crackers between toasts for $500? Probably not, because that sounds disgusting. Have you ever been to Disneyland or World? I've been to Disney World about 19 times, and in a couple months it'll have been 20 times. I have been to Disneyland, but only 3 times. And I also went to Disneyland Paris once. Mithra asks, since you've been doing commentary videos as of late, who is your favorite commentator in the commentary community? That'll be either Azumanga Daofan or Master TP10. Next up, we have Nan Flash Sparkletron. What is your opinion on the new Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening? I love it. It looks like the graphical style really has grown on me, and I've compared the games to my Everything Wrong with script on it. This remake seems to have 10 less sins than the original. I might change my mind later though. Nitsu Obebe asks, what's your favorite video game? Your opinion has probably changed since your top 50 favorite games. This will probably contain spoilers from a future list, so if you don't want it spoiled, skip to this timestamp. I thought about it, and now I regard Pokemon Sun and Moon as my favorites. Now here's one from Noah Wood. How did you feel when Super Smash Bros. Ultimate brought back Stage Builder and Home Run Contest? I was very glad about it. I wish Stage Builder was easier to use like it was in Brawl, since drawing is really hard without accidentally twitching and messing up, and you'll have to start drawing the line all over again. But it's better than not bringing it back at all. Even in spite of how a lot of people are saying we're ungrateful for Stage Builder with the way we built our stages. As for Home Run Contest, well, I haven't gotten around to doing it yet because I was too busy trying to make love to Lady Edelgard. I mean, beat Fire Emblem 3 Houses. But despite that, I'll happily raise my grade on Smash Ultimate to probably a B. I'd probably expect to raise it even higher in the future, but I heard that Stage Builder and Home Run Contest might be the only DLC returning modes. I hope the person who told me that was wrong. Phoebe LaRose asks, have you checked out Big Hero 6 the series yet? If not, it's on Disney now, so I recommend watching it. I haven't gotten around to it, but I'm wondering if I should or not. Now to answer Pierce Reed's questions. You okay, Meta?
Finland!
Here's his next question. He said, I'm 19, but would you crucify me if I said I like SML more than SMG4, even though I know you haven't watched him and that I actually like Jeffy despite the fact that I think he can be annoying at times? Don't worry, I'm not mad. I don't really watch either of them. I've seen some of SMG4's videos and they weren't bad, just bizarre. But I've seen clips of SML's videos though. Hoshido or Nor? Hoshido, because I never trusted King Garen. What do you look like under that mask? Are you secretly King DDD? Maybe. Or maybe I just look like a blue Kirby. Who's your favorite SpongeBob character? I see yours is Patrick, but mine is SpongeBob himself. I don't blame you for your choice though. Thoughts on Iago from Fire Emblem Fates? I agree with you. I like him too, and I think he's a decent villain for his design and voice. Is it bad that I like to play the new Fire Emblem games on casual? I know I could probably handle classic, but still. No, there's nothing wrong with playing on casual. I play on casual all the time. What do you want for Christmas? Toy Story 4, Aladdin 2019, Crash Entranced, and maybe a few others. Next is Procelian. Do you prefer realism or cartoon art style? Cartoon. Which Pokemon type is your favorite? I'd say either water or ice. Who would be your mascot if not Meta Knight? Sora. Next up we have Rowan Akemi at 185. Do you know a group of people who actually hate Ultra Sun and Moon? If no, then it confirms that what you said in your worst bosses list was 100% lie. But if yes, show me the comment evidence in the video. Well, I don't remember if I saw any comments about it, but I think I saw in the related videos segment there were videos titled Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon were a mistake, and the big problem with Ultra Sun and Moon. That's why I made my claim that they were hated. Do you now understand people's reasons for liking the final boss in Donkey Kong Country 2? If no, then you have to. If you refuse, then don't come crying to me if people start calling you a disrespectful jerk. I still don't see why. I heard it might be because I actually like fighting bosses in small and cramped areas where you don't do much aside from dodging attacks that hit the boss. And keep in mind I said I don't see why, which doesn't necessarily mean I disrespect their opinion. Opinions on the final boss of Sonic the Hedgehog 2? I'm probably gonna get weird looks for this, but I haven't even made it to the final boss because of the horrible continue system that makes you restart the entire game all over again if you run out. I heard there's a level select code, but I don't think it's possible to use it on the Virtual Console because I'm pretty sure I tried that. I've only gotten as far as Metropolis Zone, but I've heard the final boss is really bad. Why haven't you played Sonic and Knuckles yet? Honestly, I don't really have a good reason other than I just never got around to it. Why haven't you played the original Diddy Kong Racing? You have an N64, don't you? Yes, I do. And my answer is the same as the Sonic and Knuckles one. I have no good reason aside from not getting around to it. Is Mega Man 9 a good game? I think it's pretty okay. Is Mega Man 8's voice acting as bad as people say it is? Yes, but not as bad as X4's. Which game is better, Mega Man 8 or 9? Mega Man 8. Which is actually kind of a funny choice since I just got through saying his voice acting is as bad as people say. Are you getting your copy of Pokken Tournament back? If so, get Pokken Tournament DX. I will get DX if I decide to get it back, but don't count on it because I'm still unsure about getting it back. Are you getting any Dragon Quest games? If I run out of games I'm interested in getting that I don't own yet, then sure. Then again, I am somewhat running out. Seamus Bosher asked, do you prefer Mario or Sonic? I prefer Mario because while Sonic has had a lot of great games, the last one they made that I felt lived up to its predecessors was Lost World. Forces was only a guilty pleasure, Team Sonic Racing was good but not great, and Mania stayed way too close to its roots to feel like it had its own identity. ShadowFan1 asked, what is your least favorite legendary and mythical Pokemon? Phione, because it's just a weaker Manaphy, even though it's obtained by breeding Manaphy, which can't evolve. Shannon Pokemon and Kirby Fangirl asked, what video game do you think has the deepest lore? As long as I'm not getting the definition wrong, Kingdom Hearts 3, because you have to play every prior game in the series and watch every Disney movie represented in the game to fully understand everything that's going on. Our next question is from Samir Nevran. Have you watched Ruby? No, I haven't. I heard it has good waifus though. The Shrike asked, have you ever heard of the Metal Blade 5? I think he's one of my subscribers who comments on my videos. Or maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Suga Bush asks, why do you hate Mario & Luigi Dream Team so much? Like, why do you think it's a wasted game other than lacking potential? Well, I can see why I would come off like I hate it in the video you commented on. I don't necessarily hate it, but I'm really tempted to at times because the color scheme looks like it was soaked in the Pacific Ocean. The Brothers attacks don't look as cool as they do in other games, and pointless padding as far as the eye can see. Sections that should have been 30 minutes go on for like 3 hours without any substance added whatsoever. Why do you hate Bowser? Because he's an annoying villain who always kidnaps Peach and tries to make love to her, which just makes me want to puke. Though my hatred towards him might have subsided a little bit, because Bowser is still kind of cool at times, and I'm starting to blame Peach more for her kidnapping. SM20 asks, will you please make an everything wrong with video of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald? Not the remix. I hate to disappoint you, but it's going to be on the remix. Some of the things I said in the remake will also be things that were since in the original games too, if that makes you feel any better. SpongeBob Plushie Stuff asked, have you seen Amphibia? I've barely even heard of it. What's your thoughts on SpongeBob seasons 9B through 12? I like them, but I like 9B over 10 through 12. It's probably because of the beautiful animation style, but whatever the reason, yeah. What is your least favorite Kirby game? Kirby's Pinball Land. I don't hate it, but it's just pinball with a twist of Kirby, and I'm admittedly not too good at pinball. Super Hatman 15 asked, how do you rank all the Smash Bros. Games from worst to best? Smash 64, 3DS, Melee, Ultimate, Brawl, Wii U. What's your favorite game on the Switch? I'll probably have to say Three Houses, Mario Odyssey, or Sword and Shield. What do you think of the new Pokemon anime, based on the information so far? I'd say it looks, well, it still looks kind of weird, but it still looks worth watching. Though I'm surprised that Sonia and Nessa aren't traveling with Ash, at least not from the information we've been given, and also something that contains huge spoilers from the Gen 7 anime. A bunch of idiots spoiled for me that Ash won the Alola League, and apparently, according to everyone, once you win a Pokemon League, you're not allowed to take on other gyms because reasons. Super Waluigi Brothers asked, who is your favorite Nintendo character? I'll probably say Edelgard, but I did talk a lot about her in this, and even though she's my pick, I don't want to look like a pervert, so I'll say my favorite besides her. In that case, Link. The Black Shadow 387 asked, we ever do top 10 favorite video games? Probably, I'm thinking of it. Thoughts on Super Mario Maker 2, Luigi's Mansion 3, and Pokemon Sword and Shield? I like Mario Maker 2, but the story mode is garbage because it goes on for a bit too long with no storytelling. I'd probably prefer Mario Maker 2 over the original if Nintendo wasn't greedy enough to charge us to upload our stages. Luigi's Mansion 3? A good game too, but for some reason I don't like it as much as Dark Moon. At least not so far. Sword and Shield? I love these games, even in spite of what the toxic fan brats say. What is your favorite and least favorite video you made in 2019? My favorite is probably my Everything Wrong with Ocarina of Time, though it'll probably be this Q&A video once it's uploaded. My least favorite would be, well, a while ago I uploaded a clip of the Shut Up clip from Kindergarten Cop to express my thoughts towards the Generation 8 haters. I used that clip because I had seen it being used in a lot of videos and I thought it seemed like a cool meme, so I used it. But I eventually realized maybe I don't like that clip because of the context to it, since he was screaming at children and making them cry. So I eventually deleted it and replaced it with a clip of Robotnik saying, "Get out of my life!" What is your favorite holiday? Christmas. Beating out Thanksgiving and Halloween by just a tiny bit. Have you played Cuphead? If not, then I recommend it. No, I haven't, because I heard it's like Contra levels of cheap. Tixter2005 asks, what is your opinion on the Lion King sequels and this remake? I just saw the sequel for the first time a few weeks ago. Actually, I've seen bits and pieces of it as a kid, but I saw the whole thing for the first time recently, and it was pretty good. Obviously not as good as the first, but definitely better than some of the other sequels. I've seen Lion King 1.5 as a kid, and I always adored it. And even now, I consider it a guilty pleasure. As for the remake, I feel like I really should hate it because it's actually pretty bad compared with its superior 1994 counterpart, but I surprisingly kinda enjoyed it, and consider it a guilty pleasure. I even think that the whole all the members of the Pride Rock are going to starve thing is made stronger by showing how hard it is for the lionesses. Totally Search asked, why haven't you tried retrospectives? I'm just more interested in other types of videos and I don't think I do retrospectives enough justice. Tuxedo Bird asked, what's your favorite Minecraft block? I haven't played the real version, only the one where you can customize the layout, and I'd probably say the different colored blocks. Favorite Minecraft biome? Again, never played it. Now time to answer Ty Van Buskirk's question. Favorite video game character? Probably Sora. William Nee asks, what is the best example of a video game character you didn't want to canonically die? Warning. Spoilers from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Pretty much everyone on Koholint Island. Out of every game you've played that has a major plot twist, which one shocked you the most? Probably the plot twist of how the mascot legendary of Pokemon Sun and Moon comes in. Ninjas or samurais? Ninjas. What are your thoughts on Flash being discontinued next year? I hope that doesn't mean certain posts won't be viewable anymore. What movie character do you think has the best character development? For some reason, I'll have to go with Ebenezer Scrooge. Do you have any potential ideas for video game crossovers? Well, you know how there's been a Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors? Well, I'd like to see a Kingdom Hearts Warriors. What video game / series do you think is long overdue for a remake? I have plenty of them. Partners in Time because they skipped it, even though it's unlikely now, and 1000 Year Door and Sonic 06 to fix their biggest flaws. The Winged Apollyon asked, name your 3 favorite students from Black Eagles, Blue Lions, and Golden Deer. For Black Eagles, I'm gonna say Dorothea, Hubert, and, you guessed it, Edelgard. Sorry, Bernie, you were really close. As for Blue Lions, I'm gonna say Mercedes, Sylvain, and Felix. My favorite Golden Deer students are Hilda, Claude, and Lysithea. Who are your favorite video game villains? I'm going with Eggman, and one that contains massive spoilers from Pokemon Sun and Moon. My other favorite is Lucimi. WRJ asks, what are your thoughts on the Mario and Sonic Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games? I'm a little bit unsure about it. I haven't played the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, aside from when I played one of my friend's copies of one of the games for a few minutes, but I do think they look like fun. but they don't really seem like they'll be much different to set them apart from the other games of the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series. But I understand if you're excited for it. XX Cordova Man asks, what's your favorite and least favorite Robot Masters from the Mega Man series? For favorite, probably Skullman and Blockman. For least favorite, maybe Clownman, if only because of his voice. Zero Dur asks, what's your favorite custom stage in Smash Ultimate? Well, I haven't really made any because it's still harder to draw the right way than was in Brawl. And I haven't played any because someone at Nintendo was greedy enough to charge us to play online. If you're asking for my favorite of anyone's stages, then I can't decide. I've seen a lot of great ones. If we're gonna do Let's Plays, I actually did do 5 Let's Plays in the past. One on Yoshi's Island, Fire Red, Superstar Saga, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Pokemon Snap. Though I didn't get far in the Pokemon Snap Let's Play, I did those Let's Plays 7 years ago, but I eventually realized maybe Let's Plays aren't cut out for me. Especially now with that stupid subscriber burnout feature combined with how my Let's Play parts barely get any views. One inspired you to be a YouTuber. Some of CCD's history behind Smash Bros. Movesets, even though I only got around to doing one of them, and Alex Roach on his older countdowns. Is mayonnaise an instrument? Well, it's more of an instrument than horseradish, that's for sure. Z Pokemon Fan A asks, what are your thoughts on the Smash Ultimate content since launch? It's pretty awesome, though I'm not interested in Joker or Terry, but I might change my mind. If you could add any new mode or an old mode with a new gimmick to Smash Ultimate, what would it be? I'd add a story mode that's actually good like Subspace Emissary was. What do you think about all the Reddit channels that have been getting popular this year? I actually don't really watch Reddit, so I wouldn't know. Thoughts on the upcoming Sonic movie? It looks pretty decent. And I will agree that Sonic definitely looks better this time, since he no longer looks like a creepy spawn of Satan. Though to be fair, I only remember him looking that creepy in that one still frame people kept showing, but I still agree his design is better. My conscience was telling me he'd look even worse, if that's even possible, but thankfully he didn't. If you could have one Pokemon to keep as a pet, what would it be and why? Probably Rayquaza, so I could fly whenever I want, and so I can have something to protect me from people who try to kill me. Man, that was very exhausting. I didn't expect it to be this long, but it should all be worth it in the end. Note to self, from now on have 10 questions per user instead of 20. Well, happy Thanksgiving everyone!